Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video about structs. Now, structs in C is a way for you to essentially create and define your own data type. So, when we first started talking about programming, we talked about variables and how variables have a data type. So, for example, here we have three variables, two int and a double, and we can put values into them. If we want to picture what they look like in memory, we essentially view them as separate entities. And they can be anywhere in memory, by the way. It doesn't have to be like so neat and tidy like this. It could actually be, unit price could actually be somewhere else, right? So these could be anywhere in memory. Unit price could be down here somewhere. They're simply somewhere in memory. We actually don't really care where they are. They're somewhere, and we can access them by using the variable names. Now, when it comes to structs, what we're essentially doing is we're packaging all of these different things a single into a single entity that we call a struct. So, and there are definitely advantages to doing this. So I'm going to start with a very simple example. So let's suppose that I wanted to create a copy of all of these variables. Now, never mind why I want to do that. For some reason, I wanted a duplicate of every single variable here. Now, if I want that, then what I would have to do is I would have to create a separate variable, copy of product number, num, and we would say, well, that's product number, right? And if we wanted a copy of the price, we would have copy of unit price, and of course we would also have to have a copy of the quantity, and that would be equal to quantity. Now this is, and if we had 3, 4, 5 variables that we want to copy, the more variables I have, the more variables I would have to have. I would have a duplicate of every single variable, right? Now this can get very troublesome if we have more than just 3 variables, because you would end up having to have different names for them, and you would have to end up having to copy all of them and make sure that they're all copied, right? And that becomes tedious and also error prone. Okay, so when we're writing programs, we always want to think about doing less, be able to do the same thing but with less, because that actually makes your code less error prone. So it's very important. Okay, now how would I be able to do this without having to redeclare all 3 variables? Well, the answer is, if these 3 things are actually related to each other, so we're talking about a specific product with a specific unit price with a specific quantity, we can package these things into something called a struct. And it doesn't matter what type of data it is, we can still package it all together very neatly. So how I would do this is, so structs are declared outside the function. So I don't declare it in main, I declare it outside. And what we do is we say, okay, I'm going to have a struct, and this is going to be called the product for a product. So every product looks like this. Every product has to have a product number. So I'm going to start by defining product number, okay, as a member of the struct. So we call this member of struct, of the product struct. Okay, so we call these data members. Okay, now in C there's actually only data members. Next semester, when you learn about C++, there's also going to be member functions. So it's something that you're going to learn about next semester. I'm not going to worry about it this time, but we call these members of a struct. Okay, and the next thing is we have a double. This is the unit price, and we also have a quantity. Okay, that's it. That's how you define a struct. Oh, and a semicolon at the end. Now, this does not make a variable. So this is not a variable. This is really important because it looks kind of like I'm trying to make a variable here, and the variable is called product. That's not what this is. This is actually creating a data type called product. Okay, more specifically in C, it'll be called struct product. But it's essentially creating a data type. Okay, so what does this mean? Now, in order for me to make use of this product object, or this product struct, I have to create a variable of this data type. Just like when I wanted an integer, I had to create an integer variable. So in C, remember that what we do is we create we create variables by basically saying data type name followed by variable name, right? Like this is the syntax in C. And then if we wanted to, some sort of initialization, right? Like this is sort of the thing. So over here, if we follow this pattern, we have a type name of int followed by the variable name of product followed by the initialization with a number, right? So we can do exactly the same thing. So in order for us to use this product struct, what we would do is we would declare that we need an instance of this product struct. And how we say that is we say struct product. Okay, in C you have to use the word struct before the name of the actual struct in order to create an instance of it. So this whole thing, struct product, this is the data type. This is the type name of this variable. Okay, the variable itself, we're going to call this I'll call it my product. So this is the name of the variable, and then we might want to initialize it. And how you do the initialization is you simply follow the way that this is declared. So I want to initialize the product number followed by the unit price followed by the quantity. So if I was initializing with the same values, I would put the product number followed by the unit price and followed by the type name. So this would be so this is how I would create this is how I would create an instance of this product struct. Now what does this line of code do? Like what do I get when I do this? Well, first of all, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a variable. Okay, so I'm going to get a variable. Now this variable, the name of this variable is my product. Okay, just like in the earlier one where I have product number is an int, I get a variable to hold an integer. I'm going to get a variable called my product, that's the variable name, and it is of the type product. Now what is a struct product? Let me just move this down so you can kind of see the whole thing. What does this look like? Well, it's one of these things, right? So my product looks like this. It has these three data members in it. So what it means is that my product over here is going to have a data member called product number. Okay. It's going to have another data member called unit price. And it's going to have another data member named quantity. So pardon my terrible handwriting. Okay, so this one's my unit price and quantity. Okay, so we have this. This is what my product looks like. So this is the variable name, my product. And this variable contains these three things: an int, followed by a double, followed by another int. Now, because I initialized it like this with my variables in here, I am going to be able to put in those things. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unit price of 10.23, and quantity of 5. Okay. Now this is this is what we have. Okay. So remember that this is how we declare variables. This is what we do. So I'm going to just make a quick note here. This is struct product is the data type. Okay, so think of it that way. It's like int. My product is the variable name. And the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10.235, and 5 are used to initialize the members of the struct. That's all we have to do to initialize it. Okay. Now there's more to it than just this, but that's the basics. Okay. Now let's take a look at how we would actually then make use of this variable, right? Because this doesn't seem like I would use it the same way. So let's see how we would use it. So for example, if I wanted to printf product number, and then it's a number, so %d, and then how would I do it? Well, now before, if I simply had a variable called product number, I would just say product number, right? And that would be all I would need to do. But now I don't have this, so let's get rid of this variable because I don't really need this anymore. But now what I need to do is I need to access my my product, right? This variable over here. Now if I just simply say my product, it's not going to go, it's not the right type. So if I just use my product over here, I would be trying to print this entire thing on a %d format code, right? But this one's an integer, and this whole thing is not an integer. This whole thing, my product, is a product struct, right? So I can't just say my product here. What I have to do is I now have to access the data member within it. And how I do that is I use the dot operator. So we say to access any data member, we use the variable name, followed by a dot, followed by the name of the data member. So in this case, product number. Okay, and that's all we need to do. So the product number is the variable name of the product, followed by dot, followed by product number. One way I like to think about this dot is I like to think about the dot as '(s). So my product's product number. Okay, so think of it that way. Okay, so the dot operator is like the English '(s). So '(s) is ownership, right? So like Allison's cat, right? Alice. So if we think about it as like Allison's cat, for example, right? It's possessive, so it means that the '(s) indicates that this cat belongs to Allison, right? So instead, what we can do is so if we think of it this way, the dot is sort of like my product's product number. Okay, so that's what the dot operator does. It says I'm getting access to the product number from my product. I'm getting access to this thing that belongs to my product. So if you think about it that way, it's maybe a little bit easier to remember. So the dot is like, read it like '(s), okay? Or you think about it like that, right? So it's that. So now we also have printf, let's see, the unit price is %.2lf, which it would be, so it'll be my product, okay, dot unit price. And if we wanted to printf the other thing, which is quantity, is %d, I should put some new lines in, and this would be my product dot quantity. That's pretty much it. Now, why do we want to do this? Because this seems like, well, that seems like more typing to me. Like, where's the advantage of this? Now, think about the problem that we had originally, where we tried to make a copy of everything. Over here, we have copy of blah, 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 blah. So now, instead of having 3 separate variables, or however many data members, like how many ever items you have inside your object, if I wanted to make a copy of this product, I simply have to say, I declare another variable called product, right? So here's a copy, this is the variable, it's just called copy. You can call it whatever you want. And if I want to make a copy, I simply say copy my product. And that's it. So if I wanted to make a duplicate of everything in my product, I simply do this. Now I can check to make sure it's all the same. Okay, I'm going to copy this code over here. And the only thing I would have to change is the variable, right? Like whose product am I trying to copy, right? So if I say copy dot product number, quantity, whatever, it will actually make it, it will actually use that. I just realized I spelled English wrong, sorry. So here, this would be copies product number, right? Copies product number, copies unit price, copies quantity. Okay, so let's take a quick look and see how this works, right? This is a quick syntax demo. So GCC structs.c and git, and then we run it. Oops, there we go. So you can see here's the original, and then here is the copy of the original, and that's all this does. This is not a very exciting program, okay? But as you can see, if I have variables that are declared like this, I don't need to separately copy every single data member. A single assignment will copy everything for me, and that's really, really nice. That's actually very, very useful, okay? Because then I don't have to worry about accidentally missing something, right? Because it's all packaged into one thing. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for this video. I'm going to do a second video about arrays of structs versus parallel arrays. I'll see you in a moment.